There is a mighty wind blowing across Indiana, and soon, very soon, it will reach Ohio. A few years ago, there would have been no reason to remember a stretch of the interstate connecting Indianapolis to Chicago. You'll remember it now. The Meadow Lake Wind Farm, built by Horizon Wind Energy, has popped up in the last year and a half. There are more than 300 windmills, and there will be 600 before it is finished. Right off of Interstate 65, about an hour and a half south of Chicago. 13 miles from the first windmill to the last, as far as the eye can see. The size of these windmills is impressive, and their presence is hypnotic. From base to tip, they are almost a football field and a half tall. The nacelle, the gearbox at the top of the tower connecting the blades, is the size of a train car. The farm will generate enough power to light up 250,000 homes, or about two-thirds the number of homes in Columbus. Horizon is planning a project near Van Wert, and 4 other companies are planning wind farms in other areas of Ohio. In a corridor just east of Interstate 75 from Bowling Green to Dayton, there will be nearly 500 windmills starting construction in the next 6 months. Governor Ted Strickland's environmental advisor, Mark Shanahan, says they will stir jobs, and there are up to 150 Ohio companies that will supply parts to wind energy. But an Ohio State University study by researchers in the Department of Agriculture say wind energy doesn't really create jobs. It just shifts them around.
What if we replace 25% of the electricity of coal and use wind and look at the jobs? We lose some coal jobs, we gain some jobs in the wind sector, but on average, you add the two together, you get a number around 0.
According to the Mountain Ridge Protection Act Alliance, a consortium trying to keep windmills off of the Blue Ridge Mountains, for every job a windmill creates, it eliminated 2 more, and 9 out of 10 jobs created are only temporary. On top of that, stimulus money is being used. Up to 30% of the project can be paid for by your tax dollars. $5.2 billion has been set aside for renewable energy programs such as wind energy. $113 million in stimulus money was given to Horizon, a Portuguese company, to help build this one in Indiana. Wind farms have also come under criticism for receiving stimulus funds because of where the turbines are made, many of them in China. In this project, they were made in Denmark. How does that stimulate jobs in the U.S.?
In terms of producers, one of the things that I think people haven't really comprehended, we build wind turbines in Ohio. A lot of those components in a global supply chain are going to come from all over the world. They're going to not come from necessarily from Ohio. A lot of the jobs are going to be created outside of Ohio.
In the Indiana project, the company says much of the future windmills will be made in the U.S.
In our Phase 3, the towers were made in Newton, Iowa, Clinton, Illinois. The towers were made there. In Phase 2, the Axionas were built and made in West Branch, Iowa. Vestas just invested $200 million in a new plant out in Colorado. So we're seeing more and more investment here in the United States on manufacturing the equipment needed for a wind farm.
For the local community, the wind farms are a windfall. Here in Brookston, the closest town to the wind farm, $1 billion was invested in the area. There were new roads and a lot more spending money. In a tight economy, schools in the area have had no layoffs, and farmers are receiving between $8,000 and $12,000 annually for each windmill they allow on their farms. One farmer had 30 of them. That could be an additional $300,000 per year. After this project is finished, an even bigger one is on the horizon, putting windmills, perhaps thousands of them, on Lake Erie.